Good morning and good afternoon for all of you who have joined. Thank you for participating and sorry for being a couple of minutes late because of some technical glitch. Happy New Year to all and happy International Zero Waste Month. Welcome to the webinar, Scope of Biogas Technology in Managing Organic Discards. And we would also like to, we are actually celebrating the 25 years of GAIA. So GAIA is now 25 years old and strong. Organic waste methane constitutes 20% of anthropogenic methane emission. And methane is a short-lived, extremely potent gas. It has 82.5 times more warming potential. Annual organic waste methane abatement potential is 22 million tons by 2030, and which is second largest from top three sectors, fossil fuel, waste, and follow. Unfortunately, in the waste sector, 99% of climate finance goes to waste to energy, a false solution which aggravates the scenario. The organic fraction in municipal solid waste stream varies between 60 to 80% in Asia Pacific region. Source segregation, composting, biogas, etc. are the solutions which are comparatively economical, viable, scalable, and sustainable. This is an avenue for integration of informal sector for just transition and to ensure environmental justice. Organics and Climate Exchange is the platform launched in the last Regional Congress on Organics and Climate in Bangalore last year. It is a learning space. It's a space for learning and sharing and exploring opportunities to work together for lowering organic waste methane. This webinar is the follow-up of Organic Congress, and I welcome everyone on board. We'll be recording this webinar for sharing. And without wasting much time, let me introduce our first speaker. In this webinar, we are including the practitioners of practitioners of biogas technology from India as well as from the Philippines. So let me first introduce my friend, Mr. Santhosh Madassery. He is the owner and proprietor of Navjyoti Biogas, a social enterprise based in Kerala. And he has been engaged in research and development in micro biogas plants, which can offer low-cost solution for households as well as community. So let us hear from Mr. Santhosh Madassery. And Santhosh, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nair, for giving me an opportunity to speak over here in this forum. And I hope my screen is now available for sharing with every participant over here.
Yes, it is visible.
Yes. Now, we are a peer, so I don't need to much talk about what the product is and what biogas and what the environment is all about. Let me just take not 15 minutes, but just 5 minutes to speak of to what exactly we are proving the point. Now, we produce a kit which is as big as a computer laptop, which consists everything that is required to make a micro biogas plant from 0.5 m cube to 10 m cube, which comes in 4 kilograms to 10 kilograms, which can be carried in a bus and be transported by hand and installed within 30 to 45 minutes, irrespective of the capacity. Now, this very kit and the biogas plant is inclusive of everything except the tank and has got 23 different awards, internationally and nationally. Now, this is a scenario of exactly how a biogas plant, we call it the fed batch biogas plant, which I will be coming in a short while. This is a kit what you see here on the screen, and within minutes, you can make a biogas plant. Now, the intention and the contention behind this is that, can a biogas plant be installed in 30 minutes time? And can it be priced less than or equal to $50? That is in Indian currency, 2,000 rupees, $50. Now, In a normal biogas system, it is all anaerobic systems, where here in a compost, it is an aerobic system. And this is what exactly how the picture would like, where only aerobes act peripherally and the carbon dioxide is emitted. Now, let us take a common course biogas plant where it is fully concealed. And what happens here is that only anaerobic bacteria acts. This produces hydrogen sulfide also. Now, let us come to our way of modeling, which is called a fed batch. It is called the micro-aerated mixed culture fed batch biogas plant. Now, the contention behind this fed batch plant is that it takes a micro aeration, that it allows a little bit of oxygen that is not exceeding 15%, which helps in mitigating the volatile fatty acid accumulation and also oxidizes hydrogen sulfide into elemental sulfur and uses H2S and O2 as an energy source extra. It's a very convenient model also. There is no smell. And the repair work, I mean, the services are very too low compared to any other biogas plants. We say, you know, the success rate is 96% plus, and the service would be, you know, if you want to decant the whole slurry also, it takes only, say, 1 in 250 units. So far, we have installed since 2001. Now, these are the various types of micro biogas plant and also macro biogas plants which we have in the market generally, of which ours is the one big in yellow, which we have mentioned over here, that it contains a tank, it contains a gas jacket that collects the gas and a burner. The whole things are designed by us. It costs around 1,362 rupees, which has been awarded by the State Environmental Council. Hello?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is the one model household which we have. And it's 30 minutes of installation time and you have the tank. Very simple. Now, regarding 5 m cube to 10 m cube, we have a larger system, which is again a tank, which is locally available in the market, and a biogas kit, which can be erected in another 30 to 45 minutes time, inclusive of the burner. Now, here is the point which I wanted to mention. Is my voice audible, sir?
Yes.
It is audible. Now, if we drink a bottle of wine all of a stretch, we will get intoxicated fast, as well as there are chances that a person may even die. But if it is a responsible drinking, then if you drink sip by sip, then in a span of say 20 hours time, you can drink the whole bottle without much harming your body or even not harming your body, and also getting the intoxication within the parameters. I was here discussing about two things. One is the solid retention time and the other is the hydraulic retention time, followed by the oxidation redox potential of the very material which we are infusing in biogas plants. This we have coined it as sustained release and deferred release biogas plants. That is a sustained feed, deferred release digesters, which we are coming up since yesterday. That is on Sankranti. It was an auspicious day for India yesterday. And today we are marketing a new product called the sustained feed deferred release biogas plants, where if the infusion can go on a very slow sustained basis, like how you take a sustained release aspirin or a sustained release heart drug or whatever it is, and it can go on a systematic proportion into the bloodstream or in the digester in our case, the very hydraulic treatment time is matched in which is again in line with the pH or the oxidation redox potential of the very system, to see that the biogasification happens at the same time the HRT is maintained at a fluid basis, and much of things happen on a concordant basis, how like you feel, how like you use a big biogas plant. We have substituted a 500-liter biogas plant that is a digester tank to a 100-liter digester tank in this pattern, and it is successively working. Our rate earlier, that is 2 days back, was around 8,000 rupees for a bigger one, inclusive of installation. Today, we are selling that product at 3,800 rupees, and without changing much of the values of output. Now let us take about, since this is about climate change, I would like to talk only 3 words regarding composting. That while composting releases 2 ways of greenhouse gases, in fact, a biogas plant, it gives you, it saves carbon dioxide span. This is one thing which I wanted to clarify. And the second thing is that 1 kilogram of compost requires 2.4 kilogram of oxygen, wherein in biogas, it is elementary carbon. So climate change is far away when you talk about composting. And biogas, a ton of organic waste can give you energy equal to boil 6,000 liters of water. Now, if you take composting on a natural scale, it takes 90 to 120
Looks like we lost him.
Santhosh is back. I think we lost you in between. Can you just summarize in 2 minutes so that we can? Santhosh, your mic is mute.
No,
Your
it's okay.
microphone. Yeah.
It's okay. Now,
Yeah.
I will just come to composting and biogas plants. Was I audible before? Is this slide was okay?
The slide is not here. I think your screen sharing has lost. And you need to conclude it in two minutes. Sorry.
Okay, no issues, no issues. Now it's okay. Is my slide okay? Is my voice
slide
okay?
Voice is okay, but slide is not here.
Okay, no issues. No issues, no issues. I have already shared the slide. Just wanted to discuss 2 things about compost. If GAIA is serious about climate change and again the equipments related to waste management or whatever it is, then I would beg GAIA that composting as a matter of fact must be alluded to the public that it does require a huge amount of oxygen to compost compared to biogas plants. And as far as cow dung is concerned, and since it is as what you said in the GIA contents, that can we replace cow dung with any other product? The nearest product that you can replace is coir pith inoculum, which is only 230 CFU. While if you take cow dung, it is 5 million CFU and the ash content is 30%. And that's also replacing cow dung would be okay, but again, it would not be so successful to my experience in this past 23 years. And finally, my slide is that if you cannot plant 3 banyan trees in your life, then you must plant 1 biogas plant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Santhosh. I think there will be opportunities for our audience to ask questions to Santhosh. So there was this question mostly come about like whenever you install biogas as a kind of a like a starter inoculum, it is required like cow dung. The cow excreta is required, but it is we found it is difficult in Southeast Asian countries where or in other parts of the world, it is very difficult. So we are also asking him whether there is some alternative available for it. So maybe we'll come back to that discussion later. So let me thank you, Mr. Santhosh, and please stay online. And thank you for your presentation. And this presentation will be shared with all our audience. And let me invite Mr. Sankalp Pathak from GPS Renewables. So GPS Renewables is one of the pioneers in compressed biogas. They started their journey as a kind of a startup in India, in Bengaluru, and now they are all over, and they are one of the experts in industrial level, large scale biogas, like converting that biogas into compressed natural gas, like the methane, for to be used in industrial purpose, including automobile as well as for energy generation or as a kind of a kitchen fuel. So, Mr. Sankalp have this experience of creating systems to treat 1,800 tons of substrate, the feed, to produce 110 tons of bio-CNG. So GPS is a leader in this sector from India. And let me welcome Mr. Sankalp. Floor is yours.
Hi, good morning, and thanks, Shibu, for that very warm welcome. And I welcome all the panelists and listeners for this webinar. So, without taking much of your time, I will just straight away go into my presentation. So, hope my screen is visible, if anyone can confirm. So I will just spend a couple of like few seconds on explaining about the company. So as Shibu has explained, the GPS started as a startup by first generation entrepreneurs, Mr. Sri Krishna Shankar and Mr. Manak Chakrabarti in 2012, and it started with a small scale biogas plant for industry.
Sorry,
cafeteria.
Sankalp, can you just raise your volume a little bit up? Yeah, thank you.
Is it better?
Yes.
Thanks. Okay. And so GPS was started by first generation entrepreneurs, and I am Bangalore graduates, Mr. Manak Chakraborty and Mr. Sri Krishna Shankar. And initially it started as a biogas company for building food waste based biogas plant for cafeteria, canteen, hotels. But now after 12 years, it is a full-fledged biofuel company backed with patents, strong 70-member design and engineering team, and there are own processes which are in development or we are already deployed. Plus, GPS has formed a joint venture so with all leading oil and marketing companies to build biogas plant in India. Also, we have built ASA's largest CBG project based on SSO. SSO stands for Source Segregated Organic. So we will talk about it in a later slides. So after 12 years, we are pioneers in biogas technology as well as CBG technology. So CBG is an Indian term. In other part of world, it is called as a renewable natural gas, or in India we call it as a compressed biogas. So we just mention it as a CBG. So to start with, I'm assuming that audience would like to understand about biogas technology fundamentals. But if it feels very basic, please message me. I can skip those slides. So we will start with what is biogas. So biogas is a mixture of gas, majorly containing methane, and which is produced by anaerobic degradation. And there are two key components in the biogas. One is methane, which is a flammable component, which typically get around 50 to 60%. Another important gas is H2S. It is important because it is toxic and it is corrosive. So it need to be removed before taking gas for further application. And this is my favorite slide in this presentation. So whatever we are doing in biogas is nothing new. Nature has been doing it for like millennia. All the ruminant animals which feeds on grass and have rumen in their body, like cow, buffalo, they are producing methane and they are producing good manure. So manure use everybody is aware about, but the burp of these animals has contained methane. So what we are trying to do is replicate the system which is efficiently working in ruminant animal to build on a large scale plant. So in general, this biogas process has 4 steps. So in any biomass, whether it is a food waste or agro waste, there are these typical components of carbohydrate, fats, protein, which get digested. Or first step is hydrolysis, where these large molecules are broken down into their components like sugar, fatty acids, amino acids. Then it is followed by acetogenesis, where we produce simpler acids, carbonic acid, other alcohols, hydrogen CO2 is also produced here. And then next step is acetogenesis, where acetic acid, carbon dioxide, hydrogens are produced. And finally, we get the methane. So just for clarification, all these steps happen in the same digester, in the same tank, or in case of ruminant animal, it happens in the rumen of the animal. So these 4 steps balance each other so that the product of hydrolysis is used by bacteria working in acetogenesis product are used by bacteria working in acetogenesis, and a product of acetogenesis are used by bacteria working in methanogenesis. So these are interdependent processes, and the balancing these processes is what the key component of every biogas plant. For that, we have temperature regulation system, pressure regulation system, agitation system. The whole purpose to balance this reaction. And as mentioned here, acetogenesis and methanogenesis are key processes which determine the delicate balance of the whole system. So just couple of minutes. The methanogens, they are the diverse group of microorganisms which finally produce methane, and they have been isolated. They have been studied very well, and these are the photographs of methanogens when we see under UV fluorescent microscope. So it is easy to detect and easy to quantify, and we use this method to see if our biogas plant is working in a good way or not. This is a typical biogas plant. We will study in more detail about our biourja unit. So all biogas plant has these 4 components. One is input material. We can take multiple types of substrate, food waste, agro waste, manure. Then it is feed to the feeding line to the digester. Digester is typically equipped with a temperature control system, agitation system, large tank, and some system to store the biogas. Biogas is then used for multiple application, like small scale biogas plant can be used for directly used as a fuel. Large scale biogas plant, we can produce power, we can produce CNG or renewable natural gas. And liquid from this biogas plant is always available as a nutrient. Partially it is recycled to conserve the water, but most of the solids and liquid part can be used as an organic manure. And just to give a revolution how these plants are working, right now we see these are types of biogas, at least in India or in some part of Africa, people are known to see. This is a floating dome, this is the Din Bandhu model. Small scale plants are very widely spread in India, but in recent year there has been many advances in the system, and now at least what the plant we are building are complete industrial unit. They are equipped with auto feeding system, automatic monitoring, and we can treat large quantities. So the plant on left is a biourja unit which we offer for small scale industries or cafeteria, canteens, corporate companies, hotels. So we have like all the 5-star hotels, many of the 5-star hotel chains as a client to GPSR, where we are building this elegant looking biogas plant which will suit to their property. And so on right hand side, it is a 500 TPD SSO to CBG plant built by us. It is in Indore, Madhya Pradesh. So it's a complete industrial unit. We take 500 ton of waste every day. It is treated for removal of plastics and non-organics, and finally organics are fed to the hydrolyzer and digester. Biogas is produced. Biogas is converted to renewable biogas or CPG, and we can see the compost production also in this photograph. So it's a complete unit, and these plants are automated. They are easy to operate and good looking plant. That's the newer thing right now happening into the biogas field. So we will spend more time on bio urja. This is how overall bio urja unit looks like. So it start with a daily waste receipt. That waste receipt is sorted manually to remove plastic cups, spoons, like those things. Then it is passed through crusher and fed it to the pre-digester. So in 4 steps, acidic hydrolysis and acidogenesis we allow to happen in pre-digester. So food waste is get converted into acids, very low pH, and then we feed it to the biogas digester, where biogas is produced. The gas, as I mentioned, has H2S and some moisture it carries from the slurry. So we have gas purification system to remove this H2S and moisture. So clean gas, but it is still having 40 to 50% CO2 and for 50 to 60% methane that now used for kitchen, or it can be fit to DG, gas engine, where it can be converted into power. So this plant we are building for our client in a very well designed, elegant way and modular unit, so it can be fitted into the space available. So these are the, as a GPS started as a technology company, so we keep innovating in the different processes. So I will just brief what are the current innovations we are doing. So this is the typical structure of lignocellulosic biomass, which is the agro waste, which currently I think most abundant biomass source in the world. I can say India, I have numbers that a lot of agro waste are stored and they are sometimes burned. They are tried to convert into compost, but there is no gainful utilization of this. What we are doing is we are converting this also to biogas. So right now, these are the current ways of pre-treatment: chemical, physical, physiochemical, and biological. So chemical and physiochemical will tend to have more cost and generate some waste. So what we are proposing is we have developed an anaerobic fungi based system which can produce enzymes and sugars, which will then follow through the 4 steps of biogas production and will produce biogas. This is one of the innovation we have brought into the market. This is just an image on lab scale plant, how it looks like and how it broken down the lignocellulosic biomass and why it will be more useful in converting lignocellulosic biomass to the biogas. This anaerobic fungi system has multiple advantage. It works at ambient system. It does not need energy intensive or chemical releasing pre-treatment system. And as of now, there is extensive potential so that it can be used on multiple substrate. So commercials of small scale biogas plant I am referring, and I am using Indian currency. So just for understanding, typically for easy calculation, you can consider 80 rupees as a $1 and 8 rupees, 80 rupees as a $1 for conversion in mind conversion. I'm currently using Indian currency. So Biourja 1000 means where we can treat 1 ton of substrate food waste, where there will be savings in terms of LPG production, LPG replacement. This biogas can replace LPG in the kitchen. Then savings on waste disposal cost. There will be some OPEX. There will be some value generated because of manure production and tax benefit for depreciation. And in and all, net savings over the period of 4 years can be in the tune of 2 million Indian rupees, and for 1 ton capacity biogas plant. So these plants are not only environmental friendly, but they can offer good returns also. Climate finance is a generic information. It is not specific to our company, but it was one of the topic. So I'm just covering the introduction. Why we need a climate finance? So it is a financial support for the projects which help in abating the climate mitigation. Why it is needed? So there are multiple scenario presented by various countries that what they are going to do, but there is a still lack. The target to bring down temperature, average global temperature by 2 degree by 2000 uh, end of this century is not achievable with current status. So to fill the gap, we need more and more funding, more and more private investment in the climate focus. So that's why the climate finance is essential. So where climate finance is typically coming for private party, it is coming into large scale project, and it is coming through venture capital, private equity. There were development finance institution who are keen to support this climate focused projects, and the funding is coming for pilot early stage research well, and followed by growth, and very less funding is coming for concept to R&D stages. And for investment approach, what typically companies are taking is they are looking for more and more opportunities, and some capitalists are also looking for exploring the opportunities available in climate finance. And how we can get or can tap the climate finance is either we can go for a full chain project, which is a climate focused project, or it can be a part of larger conventional industrial project in which we can have a small climate focused project. For example, if we are having a operating hotel, in that establishing a small biogas plant is a climate focused project where it can be sourced with climate funding. Then it can be through public or private sources. Challenges are there. The cost of production compared to conventional energy, if we compare to coal for say, these are there. But as we have seen in case of solar, the cost will keep coming down. Solar when started was very highly priced compared to coal, but now it is at par or sometimes available cheaper than coal. So same thing will happen in bio-based climate projects also going forward. So these are the various avenues available for people focusing on starting this climate focused project. And these are the contact details. I think as Shibu has told, this will be shared over the mail. These are the contact details for our different business verticals. For Bio Urja, Mr. Rajesh will be a contact person from GPS. For Optimax, where we offer biogas processing system, Mr. Manoj can be contacted. And for a large scale CBG project, Mr. Rohit Singhi can be contacted from our side. So thank you very much everyone for your time and patience. I hope the presentation was useful for you.
Thank you, Mr. Sankalp. And I think there are a couple of questions around finances. I think we will come back to that later. So without much delay, I'll just let me move to our last panelist, Mr. Rei. He is my friend from Philippines. He is an activist. He's an environmental activist as well as a kind of a climate campaigner. And he's representing a kind of an organization called CRUST, which is working like Center for Renewable Energy and Sustainable Technology. It's a non-profit organization, and they are pioneering biogas technology in the Philippines as a solution for municipal solid waste organics management in the Philippines. So let us hear from Mr. Rei. Rei, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Shibu, for the introduction, and thanks for GAIA Philippines for GAIA Asia Pacific for the invitation. And also thanks to our previous panels who walk us through the science behind this amazing climate technology. So I'll be sharing actually this afternoon just a very quick snapshot of the biogas landscape in Southeast Asia, and a little bit of emphasis in the Philippines, where I am base. So yeah, so allow me to share my screen and just a very quick introduction on my organization. So CRES, or the Center for Renewable Energy and Sustainable Technology, is also a member of GAIA, and we are now on our 10th year. And we have been working with cities, communities, and institutions to provide capacity building and technical support to be able to adopt climate action and decentralized renewable energy systems, energy efficiency and conservation, and of course, our topic for this afternoon, biogas systems. So here in Southeast Asia, the landscape of biogas is very different compared to South Asia. As you can see in this graph, well, our previous speakers, they already demonstrated a lot of good innovations and really working industry in India particularly, but here in Southeast Asia, the technology of biogas adoption is really lagging behind compared to other renewable energies such as solar and wind. As you can see here, low-income countries such as Cambodia, Laos, and even Vietnam were the only countries to be able to fully utilize uh, household type digesters. And then for high middle income countries like Malaysia and Thailand, they're more focused on industry scale biogas systems, particularly still for agriculture products such as palm. So it's very good to be able to see that, for example, for low income countries, the use of biodigesters were really able to be tapped to help support the energy needs of many rural families and agricultural families. But of course, our country, where I am from, the Philippines, we are really one of the very slow in terms of adopting this kind of technology. So in terms of, again, in the snapshot, in terms of Southeast Asia, it's really Vietnam who we can say that's really moving forward in terms of biogas program. In terms of the household digesters, it's Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam who's really leading the way. For industry digesters, it's Malaysia and Thailand, and of course, for the very low users of digesters here in Southeast Asia, it's the Philippines. It's really lagging behind. In terms of because we're working on the paradigm of climate and energy, and we're seeing the importance of biogas in addressing energy needs and transitioning away from fossil fuels. ASEAN countries actually identified the key important role of bioenergy in terms of clean energy. And as you can see here, different countries across ASEAN has already set targets on how to really increase their bioenergy capacity. Unfortunately, this figure that you can see in the table is a combination of different bioenergy technologies, including biofuels, thermal biomass, and other waste to energy technologies such as landfill, methane capture, gas facilities. So there's really no very distinct program in terms of biogas. But if you really look into the numbers, approximately the only biogas capacity existing within the region is really below 1 gigawatt biogas capacity, which is really, really low compared to other renewable energy technologies, despite the huge potential and the huge resource that we can see here in the region. And looking again to the Philippines, where I'm based, as you can see identified, we are really the slow adapters of this technology. We've seen that these are the challenges that we are facing. Of course, no awareness still on the benefits of technology. There's really no support for small scale renewable energy projects. We do have a renewable energy law, but it's really geared for large scale, but there's no adequate support for decentralized systems, community scale systems, and especially household renewables. And of course, we also seen very short lifespan and low usage rates in terms of household digester, primarily because of poor design. The materials being used are not really um, that sturdy, and that's the reason why many of the low-cost household digesters only lasts for 2 to 3 years, and that also results to low usage rate for this type of systems. And again, because there's no policy support for biogas, there's also lacking in terms of market incentives and non-market incentives to be able to adopt really this kind of technology. CRES has been monitoring a lot of small-scale biogas systems. As you can see here in the photo, these are actually biodigesters that were donated by international organizations to one of the major cities here in Metro Manila. And as you can see, it's really because after the turnover of the technology, there's no proper capacity building and tech support that were provided. And it turns out that these systems were just unused, and some of them are really in a very disappointing stage after 1 year. So this is actually the reality that we're facing here in the Philippines in terms of this technology. So as Shibu mentioned, PRES has been really one of the few organizations that really looking into revitalizing the biodigester industry in the country. But for now, we really we are starting very slow. So for now, we're doing the mapping of the ecosystem. So we've been working with the government agencies and also talking to some of the fabricators, the academe and NGOs that might be interested to really support this industry. And then, of course, after that, we hope to be able to do more learning exchange this year. And of course, a Technology and Trade Expo Summit, hopefully also this year. So I think that's my presentation, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you for that presentation. I think now we have some time for questions. People can just type the questions in the chat so that it will be easier for our panelists to answer if you have a specific question for a person. Or even like Dan, can you just moderate that opening the mic for the floor? Thank you.
Yes, everyone. If you have any questions, please.
I think I see Rajesh Goswami for a question. Rajesh, please go ahead. Can you open the mic for Rajesh?
Yeah, please speak. Everyone has access to the microphone.
Rajesh, please. Rajesh, can you hear us? You can ask the question. You open your mic and you can ask the question. Yeah, please ask the question in the mic, or you want to type the question there.
Yeah, I think I'm audible now.
Yeah, yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you so much for this beautiful presentation, all the panelists. So my question is to Santhosh, that the biogas which you shared with us, the design, everything, can this be also go beyond, for more quantum, like 1 ton, 2 ton, 5 ton?
Yes, it can be. It can be depending upon the size and the utility, because we use it on, we suggest our system on a parametric basis, because you take the case of a 10-ton system. A 10-ton system has to be compressed for easy portability, and you must understand that 1,000 liter of biogas is equal to 1 m cube. So 10 ton and all, it has to be compressed and ported. You can do that, but it has to be compressed and ported. And furthermore, I would like to have one more thing, that there is something called a cyclic syngas burner, which we had suggested during 2017, that biogas is a nature's gift, and if you can and biogas contains 0.1 percentage of up to 1% of water vapor. So if you can pass it through preheated charcoal in given conditions, then you can produce acetylene. And big biogas plants, instead of using it for household purpose and other CNG and all, to convert it to acetylene would be of high market value. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. So just two more questions I have, Shibu. One is because slurry is a huge challenge to manage in biogas plant. So any important steps or any innovation in this field where we can manage the slurry apart from spreading it to the field and all. And my second question is because this biogas, the scrubbers are very important part, and any innovation in that part also, where scrubbers can be designed in a way that they doesn't need to be replaced after a certain point of time, or they doesn't need to be cleaned, regularly. So is there any advancement in that particular field? Yeah, thank you. This is open for everyone. I mean, anyone can answer.
Well, it was there was a system earlier that slurry used to smell. It was because there was poor oxygen content and poor ORP values that was derived from old models of biogas plant. Mixed culture fed batches, in fact, address smell part. You have to put it to the fields because it has the best of the best NPK content. And number two, scrubber. If you pass biogas through lime water, as what we have studied in our 5th grade or in our elementary school grade, we will know that carbon dioxide can be scrubbed out. It's not a big deal. It's a simple thing which is priced by saying all big technical scientific things called scrubber and all. It's a very simple technique. You can do it at home. Thanks.
Thank you. I'll answer. I'll just ask Sankalp. Is Sankalp there? Like, can you just add some more thing on that slurry management in the large biogas plants, as well as Rei?
Yes. So in case of large biogas plant, the slurry production depend on your input material. So if we are putting up a very dry material, then slurry won't be there. For example, paddy straw, which has around 85% TS, then such plant won't produce excess slurry. But plants based on food waste or PMC, press mud cake or Napier grass, they will produce a certain quantity of slurry. So this slurry, as far as it is in India, it can be sold as a liquid fermented organic manure. So market development for this product is in a nascent stage, but government has come up with a regulation where people can sell slurry from the biogas plant under the category of liquid fermented organic manure in large scale plant. And this slurry, I think for most of the plants, we partially recycle the slurry and partially it is available for sale in case of low TS substrate. But as I mentioned, in case of high TS substrate like agro waste and paddy straw, we do not have issue like availability of such slurry or issues with slurry. They actually need fresh water addition on day-to-day basis. In case of scrubber, I got the question. But just I think fundamentally the scrubber is either physical or chemical. In chemical, it will continue to consume the reactive material. For example, if I'm using Fe2O3 for H2S removal, the H2S present in the gas will continue to consume this Fe2O3, and so I will definitely need replacement. And if it is a physical method where I'm just separating physically this H2S or moisture from the biogas, then moisture removal can be indefinite. It can be based on temperature gradient, and we can continuously remove moisture without replacing any parts. But chemicals like H2S and CO2, the separation method will need some kind of maintenance going forward. Chemical method will need some kind of replacement as we continue to consume the chemicals. I hope I
Ray,
covered.
can you? Thank you, Mr. Sankalp. Ray, you have anything to add to this slurry management?
Yeah, so well, for me, I don't have any experience on handling large scale biogas, and we actually want to learn best practices from India. I've been doing biogas, at least the centralized systems, and because it's really small scale, there's no problem managing the slurry. But of course, again, this type of application, we really need to learn. We know that there's a lot of best practices already available in Southeast Asia, and we're really looking forward to know more
I think your
about it.
microphone is not working properly.
Sorry?
Yeah, now it is clear. Yeah.
I'm good, Shibu. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ray. I think, the slurry management is one of the challenge when when biogas is being used for municipal waste management, like when it comes to the community level. And it should be like there should be forward linkage for utilizing gas as well as the sludge. Otherwise, it will become another issue, like it is happening in many places in India, in Nepal, or in Bangladesh. Like with the government budget, they just install biogas plant as a kind of a solution. But finally, there is no utilization of gas that creates problem, and then there is no proper maintenance of biogas, and even not utilization of sludge, which also creates problem for the neighborhood. But it is like from the present days, what we understood that the digester coming from the biogas plant as a slurry is one of the best nutrient-rich material for the soil, which can actually increase the yield. And there are many modern ways, like the best technologies are also available to utilize the water content for recycling, as well as that the material, the dry material for as a fertilizer. So these are some of the options. I think there were questions about some of the questions was about the email IDs of our panelists. I think, Dan, can you just share it again? Like there are a question about the email ID and the vendor details, and then I'll send a copy of the slide decks. We will share the slide decks after this program. And any other questions? And we will also share the presentations completely through a mail to all the participants, and the recordings as well. Any other questions? Rajesh, again, yeah, please.
Yes. So actually, I'm currently residing in Uttarakhand, and the temperature here it goes below minus degree. So in that case, like, what will be the best? How can we like properly manage a biogas, because it needs certain kind of temperature to grow the bacteria. So need help with that.
Yeah, I would like direct this question to first to Sankalp in the large scale biogas plants, and then to Santhosh on the small scale biogas, how it works on sub-zero conditions at higher altitudes.
So large scale biogas, the plant is built with a heating system to keep the digester at around 37 to 49 degrees Celsius. It can be power based, or it can be biogas based, where part of the biogas used to produce the heat, or sometimes if available, it can be based on biomass, which is readily available in that area. But yes, heating system is required to maintain the temperature on a large scale.
From my point of view, it would be difficult, even though biogas, as a matter of fact, is an exothermic reaction. If you put a 80% above below ground with enough of spacements to see that the temperature is well maintained, it does perform. But the output would be less to 30% and even below. Heating systems and then biogas plant would not be feasible because it would be like carrying load on the head after sitting upon a donkey. Thanks.
Thank you, Santhosh, and thank you, Sankalp, for these answers. I think that also comes to the matter of the scale. Like, for example, like when you talk about bio-CNG, you cannot think about bio-CNG at a kind of a small scale unit. It can only be viable only after a certain type. But I think there are some midway options. For example, the biogas plant which started compressing methane. I saw that in Bangalore with the GPS. They were not compressing it at the industrial level, but it was a kind of a simple compression, compressed tank, and
Which is
utilizing
suitable
that
for
type.
our
Yeah.
burner, CNG burner at
Yeah.
around 4 to 6 bar. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So this is also possible, and for the large scale production, then you can actually afford to have all those technologies and the equipments, and even heating is also possible. But when it comes to the small scale, low cost, so there are options. Like, see, the thing is that what we wanted to share with you all is that biogas as a technology, it gives you a kind of a choice from 1 kilogram of waste per day, and at your home, even it can be converted into biogas at a kind of a lowest cost technology. That is what Santhosh was sharing. And even the community biogas plants, even at the places where you don't have that technology, that is being shared by Rei, like the experiences in the Southeast Asian countries. And the latest technology, like the technology which used to be only available in the developed world, is now, I think they made it very popular in India and in South Asia. So that is also catching up in the market. And there are options like you can go for the latest technology. So all these technologies are available, and utilization is the key. And like thinking about those technologies in practice is also very important for us. And this is something which we also are trying to connect it to the climate finance. Unfortunately, the climate finance is not coming to our governments to support these scalable and viable and sustainable models that can actually tackle the problem of methane from organic waste. And Asia Pacific region, our waste is dominated by organic waste. And we need that nutrient back to our soil because most of our people are like cultivating. Our soil are actually getting depleted day by day. So this is a kind of an ecosystem. There is a forward linkage potential is there. There is a kind of an opportunity for methane reduction is there. There is a possibility of just transition for informal workers. Let me just tell you about how the waste pickers in Mumbai, the women waste pickers in Mumbai is running in Mumbai in India. They are running community biogas plants, large biogas plants as part of their waste management service. So that means that is a new avenue for their livelihood, as well as additional revenue for their work, and their skills are upgraded and their status is also upgraded. So this is a kind of a place where we can actually think about this technology from social enterprise, non-profit to a kind of a commercial opportunity. So that gives that opportunity. And this is also something which we need to propagate. And as part of organics and climate, like we have this organics and climate exchange platform, we will continue this conversation. And we would like to have you all in that platform to continue this conversation and then work together to come up with solutions and help each other to build solutions and to popularize and to convince our governments in that sense. And at this moment, I would also like to, like GAIA is actually heading a campaign on getting the city governments or the local governments to commit for segregated collection and segregated transportation, as well as segregated management of organics as a solution for climate. And it's with a kind of a target of 2030 as a kind of a target line to reduction of organic waste methane from municipal waste streams by implementing zero waste systems, where prominence is given to technologies like composting, organics, like biogas, or black soldier fly or vermicomposting, all those technologies are now available at a kind of a advanced stage. So we are actually popularizing that, and we are working with our member organizations, and we are also like working with our collaborators to do this, to get this done. And we invite all your support to build that movement so that we can make it a reality. And thank you. Like before closing it down, let me thank my colleagues from GAIA who made, like, who arranged everything. Like they were working from the behind of the curtain, like Dan April, and then our comms team, the whole comms team who made this feasible, or made this doable kind of thing. So thank you, Dan, and the comms team in GAIA, and all others in the network development team, and my GAIA colleagues, as well as thank you every single person who joined this webinar from different parts of the world, and my heartfelt thanks to my panelists, Mr. Sankalp, Mr. Santhosh Madassery, and Mr. Rei Panaligan. And thank you once again. And I think we will continue this conversation over mails and in the future time. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And we are just.